The sandwich is practically an American institution. It is a basic essential for lunch boxes, parties, and picnics. As far as these boys are concerned, well, hamburgers and hot dogs are their idea of a really good meal. But there are sandwiches and sandwiches. When Sally Gasco and her mother bring guests home for a late snack after a movie, they have something special in the way of a sandwich in mind. Sally calls it tuna rarebit. Let's watch how she makes it. This is a sandwich for forks, an open-face creation, in other words, with a cheese, milk, and tuna fish mixture on top. The basis will be rye bread, Mother's idea. She found that the spicy caraway flavor made a good contrast to the bland fish and cheese. So the edges won't harden and curl when toasted, and so they'll be easier to eat later. She cuts them lightly with a knife. Sally puts a cube, about a square inch, of butter into the top of a double boiler. A little butter finds its way into a great many dishes in this kitchen, not only for flavor, but as a blending agent. Part of the trick to entertaining unexpected guests is keeping on hand certain generally useful foods. One of these is cheese of an easy melting type, which Sally is going to use as a base for the rarebit. To speed the melting, she cuts this into slices in the milk and butter mixture, while Mother butters the bread. The simmer flame keeps the water boiling gently while the cheese is melting, so that Sally can go on to other tasks. She adds the canned chunk-style tuna fish, and notice that she uses a wooden spoon to avoid discoloration of the mixture. Although the tuna rarebit is fairly substantial food in itself, it is a good idea to add something for variation in color and texture. Mother is making a salad dish: celery, radishes, olives, and pickles. Sally adds potato chips to the menu. They used to be exclusively picnic fare, but they've joined the host of useful accessory foods which make entertaining so much easier and more fun for teenagers. The bread was toasted quickly in the broiler, and the rarebit is nearly ready to serve. Let's see, what will be the beverage? Mother thinks she'll give the guests a choice of Coke or milk. When you can offer guests a choice easily, it's a gracious gesture. Now it's time to serve. 2 slices of toast are neatly arranged on each plate, and the filling, or perhaps we should say covering, goes on top. Sally knows you should serve cream dishes with extra caution, and effective carelessness here is no asset. Mother is a great believer in the aesthetic value of parsley, and of course it's good to eat, too. Now a touch of Tabasco for color and a taste surprise, and there's tuna rarebit a la Sally Gasco. As we said, there are sandwiches and sandwiches. A wise young homemaker using good techniques and equipment and a little imagination can turn a sandwich into festive fare.
And now it's time for Cooking with the Colonel.
Hey, thank you too much this week. Hey, welcome back to Cooking with the Colonel. I'm your host, Chef Graves, the only cooking show on the air where we take a tasteless movie and make it into a delicious dish. Today we're making an old favorite of mine. It's called The Brain That Wouldn't Die. So we're going to make the brain you don't fry. Alright? So what we're going to need is a pan, a kitchen, a brain, an oven. So go get those things together while we start watching the movie. We'll be right back after this.
Let me die. Let me die.
I should have known he was as good as dead when they wheeled him in.
You did everything possible, everything you could, Dr. Cooley.
Everything. Everything except save my patient.
Everything in the books. Now, Dad, do I have permission to take over and try things my way?
The operating room is no place to experiment.
He's dead. I can't do any harm.
Very well. The corpse is yours. Do what you want to do.
All right. Make an opening into the chest cavity. Apply 100 milliamps of current directly to the heart, then massage by hand. I'll handle the brain area.
By yourself?
By myself. To work fast, if it isn't too late.
You talk as if he's still alive.
He is. I just picked up a faint pulse beat.
Keep massaging the heart.
I am.
These electric shocks should stimulate the motor area enough to innervate the heart again. Then he won't need any external stimuli.
Keep away from the motor area. You'll paralyze him for good.
Which would you rather be, paralyzed or dead?
Don't try to play God. Some choices are not yours to make.
When the obstetrician has to decide which to save the mother or the child, who plays God then? It's part of the game.
Game? The human body's not a jigsaw puzzle to experiment on.
Still playing it safe like the other doctors, hmm? Might as well save my breath. Keep massaging the heart. You've already lost your patient, Doctor. I'm going to save mine.
His pulse is coming back stronger than ever. It's unbelievable.
Nothing's unbelievable if you have the nerve to experiment. I've been working on something like this for weeks.
In your laboratory?
I knew this would work if only I had the opportunity.
You don't conduct experiments on people. You should be sure of the results first.
I am now. Stop massaging the heart. Let's see if it can take over by itself. All right. Close up the chest. I'm about finished with the cerebral area. How's his pulse?
Strong and steady.
You did perform a miracle. I may not approve of your methods, but I am proud of your results. It was an amazing, even an extraordinary operation, son. But it still is too risky, too uncontrolled.
Saved his life.
And the after effects, what about them?
You've lost the urge to experiment, to explore.
You don't explore on people. Before you put a scalpel to one, an operation like this needs testing under every condition. Over and over again. Rabbits, mice, monkeys, not people.
That man who should be dead now won't think so. There's more to surgery than just being a carpenter to patch up walls or a plumber to drain pipes. Our bodies are capable of adjusting in ways we've hardly dreamt of. If we can only find the key. I'm so close now, so very close.
The key to what?
Complete transplantations. To be able to transplant limbs and organs. To be able to replace diseased and damaged parts of the body as easily as we replace eye corneas now. So that the new parts will join together as though they were born there.
Can't be done.
It can be done. With my new special compound I've created, I'll do it. I know I can do it.
Sure, sure. That's what you say.
That's what I know. I know I'm close.
Darling, I'm so proud of you, I could kiss you.
Promises, huh? Always promises.
Careful, your father's liable to report us.
And stop the floor show? When you two are married, it won't be fun to watch anymore.
Well, I can promise you one thing. Your grandchildren won't be test tube babies.
You better hurry if you want to catch that plane to Denver, Dad. You know that medical convention can't start without you.
Jan, you'd better check about my reservations.
Oh, yes, I'll call the airport. I'll be right back.
Bill, the line between scientific genius and obsessive fanaticism is a thin one. I want you on the right side of it.
If I don't experiment, how can I hope to perform operations like the one you almost messed up?
But I can't cover up for you anymore. The superintendent had it out with me. He thinks it's you who's been stealing those limbs from the amputee operations.
So what if it is? I've got to have limbs for my transplant experiments. Well, you said test and experiment. Test and experiment.
Yes, but limbs and organs taken from people.
I've got to have them to work with. Sure, I've made a few mistakes, but I've learned from them. I've learned.
Your reservations are all set. 3:30 takeoff.
Well, what have you two planned for the weekend?
Oh, nothing much. It's a quiet weekend.
You sure you're not going up to the country house? You're always sneaking off up there. The place gives me the creeps. I should have sold it when your mother died.
You can't sell that place. Well, I mean, it's nice to get away from the city. I can work without anyone snooping around.
You spend too much time up there. All right, I'll see you both in a few days. Got to clean up and get out of here. Fine operation or not, Bill. You're walking on thin ice. Don't go too far.
Oh, every time you touch me, I go out of my mind. I want to kiss you. Bill, I want to get married. I can't stand not having you.
You've been wonderful.
I'd rather be a bride.
In a few more weeks. And nothing will keep us apart. We'll be together.
Hey, so welcome back to Cooking with the Colonel. Now, of course, you got your pan and your brain, etc. all together. So now let's talk a little bit about what kind of brain we got to be using today. Now, I get my brains wholesale from a doctor friend of mine. They're a little on the small side because they're what he calls abnormal. Don't know. So, look, there's been a lot of talk in the news and media recently about, you know, organic brains versus non-organic brains and stuff. So let's first look at it, what we call the organic brain. Now look at this. This is an organic brain. Look, it's small, not so robust. Now here's a non-organic brain. It's what's called a MSMO brain. Oh, it's wrinkly. It's what's called a mad scientist mutated organ. You know. So this is the brain we'll be using today. You can see it's plumper, it's fresh, it's nice and everything. So we're going to be using this today. Now, remember, no matter what kind of brain you use, or you have, the most important thing to remember with your thinky brain is kitchen safety. Let's watch and learn, shall we? Let's.
This is the sad story of Eleanor Jones. Eleanor is spending a few days at the hospital. She really didn't intend to come to the hospital, but just a few days ago, something happened. Eleanor decided to clean the top of the kitchen cupboards. There was a stepladder in the basement, but Eleanor just didn't want to take the trouble. Careful, Eleanor, careful. So Eleanor has a chance for some extra reading. What are you reading, Eleanor? Yes, Eleanor has learned her lesson. But how about you? Do you know how to play safe in the kitchen? One of the first things to remember is to arrange your kitchen as conveniently and as efficiently as possible. In this way, you avoid those extra steps which cause fatigue and thus reduce the possibility of an accident. Store the things you use near the place you intend to use them. And by all means, store poisons, extra matches, and other dangerous items far above the reach of children. Keep those cupboard doors closed. A bump on the head probably won't send you to the hospital, but it will be painful just the same. Small accidents will happen occasionally, but don't let them become major ones. Wipe up that grease spot immediately before you have a chance to forget about it. A knife is a dangerous weapon if not treated with the proper respect. Strangely enough, a sharp knife is less dangerous than a dull one. Since less force is required to use a sharp knife, it is less likely to slip. Whenever possible, use the knife so that the direction of force is away from the body. Then if the knife should slip, it'll do no great damage. And keep those fingers out. If possible, store knives in a knife rack. It is safer and more convenient, and also protects the edge from contact with other utensils. This is the wrong way to wash knives. They should be washed separately and one at a time. If you lose a knife in the dishwater, you're likely to find it the hard way. Sure to treat even small injuries immediately to avoid danger of infection. And while we're on the subject of knives, they just weren't rough edges to cut fingers. Many excellent foods are preserved in glass containers. Should break, throw the food away. No matter how safe it may be, the danger of broken glass fragments is great to be disregarded. No kitchen is complete without a range, but there are right and wrong ways to use one. With a pilot light, lighting the barrel, but make sure that the gas actually does ignite. If it doesn't have a pilot light, light your match before turning on the gas. Before minutes. This way you allow any accumulated gas to escape and prevent a possible explosion. After After this time has elapsed, light and insert the match. Then turn on the gas. A handle projecting over the edge of the stove can easily cause this. Keep the handles on your pots and pans tight and in good condition. A loose handle can cause many a spill. A screwdriver kept in the kitchen will be handy for keeping things in good repair. A good way to keep a handle in good condition is to keep it away from the lighted burners. Use a dry potholder that is large enough to protect your hand, yet not large enough to extend into the flame. A wet holder conducts heat very readily. When removing the lid from a pan likely to contain steam, tip the lid in such a way as to direct the steam away from your body. Foods fried in deep fat are delicious, but certain precautions should be observed in their preparation. The mistakes usually made are filling the pan too full and is at a temperature 200 degrees hotter than boiling. Any water clinging to the food boils vigorously. This is likely to carry the fat over the side, where it may ignite. Pour the fat into a large container. Large enough so that the fat is at least 3 inches from the top. Keep the food as dry as possible. Remember, it's the water that causes the bubbling. And just in case, keep a reliable fire extinguisher in the kitchen at all times. What's wrong here? All the burners are turned off. Ah, but don't forget, this stove has a pilot light. Don't leave papers or potholders near it, or this will happen to you. When plugging in or removing any electrical appliance, be sure your hands are dry. Wet skin conducts electricity much more readily than dry skin. Therefore, the danger of shock is much greater when your hands are wet. Here is a dangerous situation. Keep those electric cords where no one can trip over them. If you use any of the many kinds of special equipment designed for the kitchen, be sure to read the manufacturer's recommendations for safe operation and follow them closely. It is not sufficient to follow the advice of some friend who ought to know. Consult your instruction book and get the correct information. When it becomes necessary to climb, do it the safe way. The few dollars you pay for a ladder are well spent in terms of convenience and safety. Remember Eleanor Jones? Eleanor will be released from the hospital in a few days, and when she gets out, she is determined to stay out. Eleanor had to go to the hospital to learn her lesson, but you don't have to. Remember, it pays to play safe in the kitchen.
Dr. Kortner. I'm so glad you're here. I was afraid you'd gotten away. There was a very important phone message that came to you. It sounded quite urgent. I've been looking everywhere. It was from a man called Kurt. He called from the country place, and he said something terrible has happened. He wanted you to come right out.
Thank you. Well, you've always wanted to know what's kept me away from you so many weekends. Have you got the keys to your car?
Why haven't you ever taken me up here before?
Because the things I'm working on don't need an audience.
That telephone call, what about it?
All right, all right. Hold off the questions.
Why the mystery, Bill? What's it all about?
We'll be there soon enough. You'll see. I've got to hurry.
All right, for God's sake, open the door. I'm coming. Mac, what's happened to you?
A terrible accident. I've got to save her. Got to save her.
What is it? What have you got there?
Kurt, please. Sterilize the tubes and instruments quickly.
What are you going to do? Aren't you going to have a look in the closet first?
No, I can't now. This is more important.
But you don't understand.
For God's sake, Kurt, this is urgent. Do as I tell you before it's too late. I can't waste precious time arguing with you.
Eyelids. I saw them move. It can't be. My eyes are deceiving me.
What you see is real. What's done is done, and what I've done is right. It's the work of science.
I remember fire. Burning. Let me die. Let me die.
I've had success with transplants. Now I can do it for her.
Transplant her to what?
I brought her back. She'll live, and I'll get her another body. I can make her complete again.
Only a madman can believe that she could ever be like before.
Don't argue with me. I love her too much to let her stay like this. I'll restore her as before. You'll see.
Can't you realize? Can't you see? There's a pattern to all that lives. An order, an arrangement. She had a heart and a brain, and her spirit was in both, not in one or the other.
No. I'll give her a brain and a heart.
Yes, and what of her soul? You say you love her, and you can remember her love for you. Then how can you make of her an experiment of horror?
All the skill and science I possess was meant for this. Life has a pattern. The whole pattern of my life is shaping itself to save her now.
Then you intend to go through with it?
Yes. Sleep, my darling. Rest and grow stronger.
keep her alive under these conditions?
48, 50 hours at the most.
Yes. And you really believe you can work a transplant on her successfully?
Yes.
Like my arm. Withered and deformed.
Yours was an early experiment that failed. With her, I'm using my new adreno serum. Must work. I've got to go now. If the police or anyone call, tell them you don't know anything about it. I don't think anyone will trace us here because her body was burned in the wreckage.
Yes, of course, of course. Look, Bill, before you go, do have a look in that closet. It's the reason why I called you up here.
Keep it locked.
Last night it got so violent it almost broke out.
Oh, not through that thickness. Keep it closed. I've got to think about her now. I've got to find her a body.
How are you going to go about getting one? Bill, how will you do it?
There are ways. There are ways.
What took you so long?
What made you think I'd come?
You know a good thing when you say it.
Yeah, there was plenty to see. I liked your act.
Is that all you liked?
Well, your costume, what there was of it, was interesting.
Is that all?
The rest of the equipment is standard. But, the arrangement is pretty special.
You know, tourists just looking at the sights. What are you doing here? Slumming?
Well, I get my allowance once a week.
Okay, if you're so loaded, you pay for the drinks.
I already did. Are you hustling for the house?
I hustle for myself. I'm the leading lady around here. I can sit with the squares out front, or I can relax back here with my friends.
I'll bet you don't have an enemy in the world. Hmm?
Let me die. Let me die.
Where are you from?
Oh, around. Just looking around.
When you get done looking, then what?
I operate.
I get your message. You're coming across. You could flip any chick in the house. Why me?
Oh, like I said, I'm looking.
Well, you don't have to look any further. I'm not going to fake it for you.
When do you go on again, hmm? When?
Relax. I got another show yet, but it could be for you.
Oh, I was just asking.
Try taking. I'm getting nervous. I'm over 21.
Oh, it isn't that. I just got things to do. Things to take care of.
Well, if I don't exactly make you sick, what could be more important that could be taken care of right now?
Well, I've got to see about helping somebody. Somebody who needs my help very badly.
You gotta cut out of me now, baby. Now when you got me feeling so good. I'm so warm all over. I'm good for you. I know I'm good for what you want.
You may be just what I'm looking for.
You've got your nerve.
Oh, look who's talking.
Why'd you haul your beat-up body back to the bar with the rest of the flies?
Keep your G-string on. I only came in here to change my clothes. I got admission. Now I'd like to see the rest of the show.
Come back in half an hour and maybe you will.
Get lost. Hi, lover boy. I see you've met the queen. Hey. Come here, don't hide. You know, you've got the kind of face a girl doesn't mind looking at. Even out front, all the other girls are asking about you.
Get out of here. Choose company. Three's a crowd.
Who's to tell me to blow if I don't want to? This here's my dressing room, too. Remember?
It kills her to see me make time.
You're the only thing that's going to be made around here tonight. Honey.
Eat your heart out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'd better be going, hmm?
What for? Look what you've done. You come busting with your 2 cents. Let me see you later. I'll make everything up to you. I swear I will.
Yeah. Come on back later. I'll remember you.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
You lousy tramp. Once in a blue moon, I walked into a bar with class, and you messed it up.
What makes you think you had him? He would have you on a bet.
Says who?
Says me. What's a guy like that want with leftovers for?
Leftovers? Why, you cheap third-rate stripper. You want to go over? She's bleeding. Let's go. You had to call oil. Well, go. There.
always say it's not good to cook on an empty stomach. So I went and got some leftovers here, and I'm going to have a little snack while we all watch this. Tasty. Huh, that's a footlong.
Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack. We promise to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sweet tooth. So visit our refreshment center now. Let's go!
Here she is. She is single and fun-loving. She is engaged. She is newly married. And not so newly married. She has no children. She has one child. She has many children. She even has grandchildren. She may be exclusively a homemaker. Or she may hold a part-time job. Or she works in an office full-time. She enjoys her leisure time. She participates in community affairs. She's athletic. To a degree. She travels. And she spends money. In any case, our consumer is a real person, one of a large group of individuals that make up our consumer world.
It's showtime.
Inside the closet. What has he done to you? I know there's someone there. Knock once if you hear me. And I'm not the first. Knock twice if I'm not the first. He should have let me die. I hate him for what he's done to me. If he only knew what it's like being like this. Do you know what it's like? Together we could have revenge. You want revenge? You thing inside and me the thing out here. My brain's still untouched. And his keeping me alive has given me a power he didn't count on. Power that you can feel. Across this room and through that door. Can't you? Together we're both more than things. We're a power as hideous as our deformities. Together we'll wreak our revenge. I shall create power, and you will enforce it. You the thing inside. Me the thing out here. What's locked behind that door?
Horror. No normal mind can imagine. Something even more terrible than you.
No, my deformed friend. Like all quantities, horror has its ultimate, and I'm that.
No. There is a horror beyond yours, and it's in there, locked behind that door. The paths of experimentation twist and turn through mountains of miscalculation and often lose themselves in error and darkness. Behind that door is the sum total of Dr. Corton's mistakes.
He had no right to bring me back to this.
Perhaps not. Who knows? But you should know that before he injected the serum into that, it was but a mass of grafted tissues, lifeless. Just lay there, weighted down with its transplants of broken limbs and amputated arms. But with this serum, it began to breathe.
It's impossible.
Would you have thought possible what he's already done? Take yourself. He's brought you back. You live. Only a few years ago, all transplants were impossible.
That's what he's been doing up here where no one could see his work.
Yes. Experimenting with transplants on that. And on me. Letting him tear away my flesh time after time, test after test. My hopes shattering with each grafted arm he fastened to me. Watching it wither and warp. Instead of strengthening. You see, he's learned from his mistakes.
And you stayed with him, helping him in his grotesque work that he claims is for science.
Was there a place for me on the outside with this? A world where eyes would look upon me with pity, and people would turn away from me in disgust. No. The alcoholic has his bottle. The dope addict his needle. I had my research. I used to be a surgeon. It was my life. And one night in the laboratory there was an accident. They had to amputate my arm.
And he has used you to...
I had no choice. He was my only hope. A surgeon needs both his arms, not just one. Well, you see, my transplanted grotesqueness stayed. So did I. I live only for the day he can work a successful transplant to my body. That is why I stay.
Transplant my head onto another body.
Yes. And he's insane with the belief he can do it.
But the tissues of my body would reject the tissues of another. Reject it as the foreign substance it is. The transplant would never take it, would never stay in place. My blood's antibodies would attack it as they attack any invading matter.
Yes, but his new discovery, this new serum, may change all that. This serum injected into the bloodstream affects the lymphoid tissues. Here, in the neck. The lymphoids that provide the antibodies for the blood that attack foreign transplanted matter. It was untested, untried, till we used it on you.
So, that liquid in the blood that's being pumped through what's left of me is what makes me feel the... He may produce results he didn't ask for.
Results? You mean like this?
Results more terrible than your arm of relative beauty. Results of power. Of magnitude.
Power. What power? Can't you see that you're at the mercy of every element of the universe? How can you speak of power?
I have power. This liquid that he's pumped into me. My brain burns with it. That thing inside an iron touch. Want me to prove it?
You can prove nothing. You're powerless.
I'll show you how powerless I am. You. Behind that door. Let me know if you hear me. Whoever, whatever you are, I command you. You understand me. I'm only a head, and you're whatever you are. Together we're strong, more powerful than any of them.
What are you running from? What's wrong with you?
Oh, it's you. Something wrong, something beyond control in that room.
There's nothing beyond my control. She's alive, and I'll keep her alive until I find her a body. I can't talk anymore. I'm tired. I've got to go to sleep.
Then you didn't find her a body?
Well, I've got to be careful. I can't afford to be identified as the last person seen with a girl before she disappears.
Do you think you'll get one?
There are many things left for tomorrow.
About to call a cop the way you were looking me over. How have you been, Bill?
Oh, just fine, Donna. I haven't seen you for quite a while.
Too long. I'm still waiting for that call you once promised me.
Well, you know how it is with interns. All work.
All work and no play even makes for dull doctors. You're going to lose that bedside manner of yours. Say, how'd that little side course in anatomy?
Yours? Anytime.
No, not mine. A Body Beautiful contest. You know, bathing suit models. Plenty of females on the hoof. Your eyes will have a field day. Interested?
Well, why not? You're just what the doctor ordered. Come on, jump in. On second thought, I just remembered I've got to stop by my place and take care of a few things. It'll only take a minute. You don't mind, do you?
I always follow the doctor's orders. Anything you prescribe, I'll take.
That's what I like about you, Donna. Always so obliging.
Hey, Donna, where are you going? What's the hurry?
Hi, Jeannie. We're going to look for some bodies.
You mean the contest?
Yeah.
Got any room for me?
Oh, sure, plenty. Bill, this is Jeannie Reynolds. Jeannie, this is Dr.
Hi.
Bill Portner.
Hello.
Hop in, but first we got to stop off at his place.
Sure.
Well, as a matter of fact, I can wait. Now that there's two of you, we'll have to wait.
Guess he thinks there's safety in numbers.
Well, this time there is.
You promised not to hurt you.
And I promise not to hurt you.
Ready to go. Backstage are 5 of the girls who have reached the contest finals, and we are here to choose Miss Body Beautiful. Now, we've eliminated everyone except the 5 finalists, and they will be judged solely by your applause. So let's bring them on. First, Helen Appleton. Terry Lund. Peggy Howard.
She has the second nicest body I've ever seen.
Second to you?
No, another girl, a figure model. You remember that one in school years ago? The one who had the accident.
Oh, yeah. Doris,
Doris Powell.
Yeah, she's still around?
Few people see her nowadays. She just stays in her studio posing for art classes and camera bugs.
Oh, hey, welcome back. Man, that guy he's getting creepier and creepier as he goes on. It's not a good kind of creepy either, sort of a don't invite him to the office Christmas party kind of creepy. So, like I was saying, we're going to be baking this brain today, and you can get your brain baked, you can get it fried, you can boil them, mash them, put them in a stew, lots of ways you can cook a brain. You know, I just prefer baking it because it gets a lot of the fat out and seals in the flavor. So, but, oh, you know what else you can do? You can always barbecue them like they do down south.
Did you ever wonder what it was like in the Old West underneath the open sky? Well, we have, and from time to time, we like to add a Western flavor to entertainment at our house. I am Chef Michael Tondo, Honorary Chairman of National Barbecue Month. I invite all of you to join me for the month of July for barbecues. And as we all know, the Old West was a time when men were men and appetites were huge. One of the things that satisfied these appetites was good beef. And one of the ways to cook beefsteak in those colorful times was country style. And that's what we're going to cook today. You start with a good top round steak, which weighs about 3 pounds and is 3/4 of an inch thick. This serves 4 people. Top round steak has no bone, but there is a thin layer of fat on the outside edge which you can easily trim off. Once the steak is trimmed, it's time to add the magic ingredient, the bottled browning sauce, Kitchen Bouquet, which seals in the natural flavors and juices of the meat and gives it a beautiful brown look. Once Kitchen Bouquet is brushed on, using your regular kitchen basting brush, you can then salt and pepper to taste. The meat should be left to sit for about 15 minutes to allow Kitchen Bouquet to create a seal for the natural meat flavors. When you're doing your own outdoor cooking, there are a few easy tips which will add to your barbecuing enjoyment. First, clean the grill with a good wire brush. Then, when you're ready to start the fire, mound the briquettes in the center of the grill. This will help the flame reach all the charcoal and give you a good even fire. To cook corn on the cob over the coals, remove the husk and silk and wrap in foil with butter and seasoning. Place the foil-wrapped ears on the grill and cook for 7 to 8 minutes, turning each one so it cooks evenly. When all the briquettes are a powdery gray, spread them evenly over the bottom of the barbecue grill. Set the steaks about 4 to 5 inches from the fire and grill one side for about 7 minutes. Then turn the country steak over and cook for 7 minutes more. To add Western zest to your country-style steak, heat up some tasty mushrooms in a small pan placed on the grill. You can do this just before the beef's ready to serve. To get the meat just right, you can press it with the tongs, never a fork, to see how well done it is. Rare meat will feel soft to the touch, and well done will be firm. The reason I never use a fork is that it would pierce the kitchen bouquet flavor seal. One of the secrets of good barbecue cooking is to keep all the juices in, which makes the meat tender and moist. When the meat's ready for serving, cut it at an angle in thin slices across the grain. And don't be afraid to add a generous spoonful of sliced mushrooms, which have been heating in their own butter-enriched sauce. For another Western treat, serve easy-to-prepare barbecue beans. Be sure to serve up the beans in an old-fashioned Western-style bean pot. Carry out your Western theme with bright checkered tablecloths, tin plates and cups, and other decorative touches that create a chuckwagon atmosphere. Western barbecues are always fun. Try one yourself. I'm sure your family and guests will agree it's a great way to celebrate National Barbecue Month. If you'd like a free booklet of my recipes to help you and your family celebrate during National Barbecue Month and all through the year, write to me, Chef Michael Tondo, in care of this program.
The nicest body she's ever seen. The nicest body. Maybe this is the one. She's got to be. I can keep Jan alive only for a few more hours. I've got to find her a body.
He intends to kill somebody. To rob them of their body. Do you hear me? Yes, you hear me. You know how Bill's egotism drives him on and on to infamy upon infamy. Could ever be born of evil? Yet he claims his work is for science, for humanity. To be joined to flesh not your own. What's human in this? Of how you must exist, locked behind that door. We've got to stop him.
Okay, boys, I've had it for tonight.
Come on, baby, one more. Just one more, please. Another 5 minutes, baby.
Time's just about up anyway.
Okay.
Say, Doris, would you like to have a drink with me? Just you and me, away from everybody? Someplace where nobody will butt in, where you and I can really be alone.
No, thank you.
How about posing for me? Private-like. I'll pay you real money, real good money. Kind of money they don't throw at you every day, and for doing hardly nothing at all.
I do my posing for classes only, Wednesdays and Saturdays, 8 to 10.
Yeah, I know, but we can...
Good night. See it all, mister. The show's over. Next time, bring a camera and buy a ticket. I'm not running a charity.
You don't remember me, do you, Doris?
Every guy on the make gives me that same tired line.
I'm Bill Courtner.
Bill Courtner. Long time ago, that fight. You almost tore that wise guy apart for making fun of me. After my accident.
Look, can't we go somewhere and talk?
No, I don't date men. Because I pose like I do. Your mind works overtime. You get ideas. You're all alike.
Oh, not all of us. I'm not on the make for you.
Okay, so maybe you're better than most. Maybe not. I still hate all men. I hate them for what one did to me once. Have you forgotten? Well, have you?
No, I haven't forgotten.
Well, neither have I. I carry the memory around with me.
But you can't hide yourself away here forever, posing bare in front of a bunch of neurotics.
Listen, Galahad. I trusted a man once, all the way. What did it get me? He gets his head full of jealous lies, and I get...
You've got to forget what
How
happened.
can I forget? I carry the memory around with me. Am I so appealing to you now? Still so interested? Doesn't it make you sick? You don't even turn away from me, like everyone else does.
To me, you're not ugly. I see only beauty in you. You have a lovely body and a face that can be made beautiful again also.
Yeah. I've heard that song before.
I'm a doctor, I know. My father's one of the leading plastic surgeons. If anyone can help you, we can. I know I can.
I've been to doctors. It's no use. The scar tissue's too deep. No one can help me.
Now, that was a few years ago. Today, nothing's hopeless. We can graft scar and skin tissue. Well, we can even freeze areas of the skin and sand away damaged skin tissues.
The way you say that look in your eyes, I almost want to believe you. I almost want to believe you.
Well, then start believing, hmm?
Even if your father could help me, I couldn't pay him the kind of money it would take.
Don't talk about money. He does a lot of work without any charge.
Why should you want to do this for me? What's in it for you?
I'm going to make your face beautiful again. Cut it off and give your body away.
I'm sorry. Bill, I have been knocked around so many times. I've lost count. It's tough living with this. I don't mean to sound ungrateful.
Well, because you've been battered around, don't go sour. You shouldn't lose your trust in people. Not all of us.
I believe you. I want to. Do you really think something can be done?
Only my father knows. Look, we have a country place just out of town. He's visiting for the weekend. I could take you there now for a consultation.
You mean tonight?
Well, if you'd rather wait till he comes back. If
Oh,
he
no,
comes
no.
back.
I mean, he wouldn't be annoyed being bothered with me so late at night.
Well, you let me do the worrying, hmm?
I'll do anything that'll help me get rid of this face.
Oh, that's where I come in. Remember the last time I helped you? Where are you going? Who are you calling?
My girlfriend, I want to tell her the news.
Before you know what the verdict's going to be?
You're right. I shouldn't talk until I know what's going to happen. My girlfriend, she's supposed to drop in later. I'll have to leave her a note or something.
Well, just tell her you'll see you later. Otherwise, she'll ask a lot of nosy questions. We want to be sure first. Just throw something on, huh?
I'll be with you in a minute.
Just tell her you'll keep in touch. I'll leave it on the table. She'll see it.
Had to go out with old friend Bill Courtner. Will call you tomorrow. Doris. Here.
I'll leave it on the lamp. She'll see it, won't she?
That's the first place she'll look. I'll leave the lights on for her. I have waited so long for this.
So have I.
Man, you know, I know when I go into my friend's house, the first thing I always check is the lamps. Because they might leave notes or maybe money in there or something. I don't know. Anyway, got the oven set to 450, 45 minutes. I'm using an old Selectric from like 1950 or something, so I don't know what you're using, but I'm sure it does not compare to the kitchen of tomorrow.
Just like a man, you give him a break, and you end up in the kitchen baking a cake.
But this was a kitchen like none I've seen. Put a card in the slot, and onto the screen pops a picture of just how your dish will look, plus all the ingredients you need to cook. No need for the bride to feel tragic. The rest is push-button magic. So whether you bake or broil or stew, the Frigidaire kitchen does it all for you. Don't have to be chained to the stove all day. Just set the timer and you're on your way. Tick-tock, tick-tock, I'm free to have fun around the clock. Jeepers, I'm exhausted. The kitchen of tomorrow is calling me. My cake is ready.
Time for the show. Everybody on stage. And now, a glamorous dancer in a special number, Dance of Tomorrow.
Everyone says the future is strange, but I have a feeling some things won't change.
again. Got to see your hideousness. You've got to see mine. Wonder which of us is more awful. Nothing you can be is more terrible than what I am. A head without a body. A head that should be in its grave. I hate him. I hate him for what he's done to me. Can your horror match mine? Quiet. Someone's coming.
I have come to feed your friend. While you feed yourself with hate, it prefers food.
Your thoughtless, sniveling fear becomes you more.
Yeah. What makes you think I'm afraid of what's in there? Or of you? A mere head in search of a body.
People fear what they don't understand and what they can't see.
What are you talking about? You're nothing but a freak of life. And a freak of death. Why should I be afraid of a few knocks on a door?
But last night you ran. You were afraid of what you imagined lay behind that door.
I? Imagined? It was I who helped grab together the bits and pieces that were stolen from the hospital. An amputated arm, a leg, a torso. It was I who helped piece them together like a monstrous jigsaw puzzle.
And that same medicine that he's fed to me to activate my lymphoid tissues. Has he fed it to that?
No. No, on that he used an earlier formula. It wasn't as successful as the serum he's using on you. But it was enough to allow the transplants to take. If your experiment is successful, then it'll be my turn.
And what else has happened to it?
What do you mean, what else? Well, it's mutated some, of course. It's changed considerably.
Why don't you open the door? And we'll both see how it's changed.
Listen, you. I warn you. You better stop pestering me, do you hear? I'm getting fed up with you and your insidious talk. He should have cut out your tongue while he was at it.
Afraid?
Afraid of whom? Of you? No. Not anymore.
But of it?
Nor of it. He only keeps it locked in there so that it'll be safe, that's all.
Safe? From me?
You beast. I hope he prolongs your existence into a lifetime of agony. Then we'll see who's laughing at whom. You miserable fool!
Get him! Kill him!
You and your father live here?
Only on weekends when we want to get away from the city.
This place certainly is lonely.
Well, the further from prying eyes, the better. I mean, it's nice and quiet here. We can get away from the noise and telephones.
Oh, I guess it is.
Well, sit down, sit down. I'll fix us a drink, huh? My father should be back soon.
You mean he's not here now?
Oh, come on now, Doris. Do I look like a maniac who goes around killing girls? Now, you've got to learn to trust people. Oh, people like me, really.
I'm sorry. I trust you. I trust you with my life.
Well, I can't ask for any more than that. I'll be right back.
I was beginning to think you'd forgotten about me.
Forgotten you? Why, Doris, you've become very important to me. Very important. I put a little water in it so it wouldn't be too strong for you.
Fine. I'm not a very heavy drinker.
Neither am I. Well, here's to your future, whatever it may be.
I'll drink to that. It's getting awfully warm in here. I feel kind of funny. Bill, you put something in my drink, didn't you?
I told you I'd bring you a body. A beautiful one. Soon it will be yours.
Bill, you can't.
Yes, I can. I want you as a complete woman, not part of one. Is it a crime to want to keep you alive? Is it a crime for science to jump ahead by years? This kind of thing must be done. When it's over, you'll see. I've got to hurry now. The drug will wear off soon and she'll be awake. When she does come to, it will be your head consciously awakening for her.
You must be stopped. You must.
And who's going to do it? It's got to be quiet here.
Can't stop me.
Very well.
My friends always ask me, Chef Graves, what wine really goes with brains? Like, well, a lot of wine goes with brains. You want to have as much as you can get, red, white, pink, whatever you can, before you jump into those brains. Trust me that. Now let's see here. I prefer a Bindi straw too. Just to, there you go. Get it? It's nice. Now, as you can see here, I've got the brain all prepared. I've garnished it with Girl Scout Thin Mint cookies, very lovely, and olives for a contrast there. And you can zoom in, smiley. No musculature to move the. Okay, so if you could see along the top of the brains, there's some lesions. Apparently, this person was in a brain trauma incident, obviously, so that's a little bonus from me. So I'm going to eat the brain now. So that's going to be fun for me. All right, here we go. Eating brains. That's a big piece. I just want to taste it, really. Yeah, I don't. Zombies are always making a fuss about the brains. I don't get it. Maybe I'm not supposed to cook them. Maybe that's it. But anyway, that's how you make the brain that we didn't fry. So be here next time when we make Night of the Living Bread. Right? Okay. Good night.